This is a men's basketball at the ACC Tipoff edition of the Cards Cast. I'm Cardinal Authority senior writer Michael McCammon. Spent the time in Charlotte. Had great chances to talk to the players, Pat Kelsey, coaches and players from other coaches, and kind of get a sense of how the ACC's feeling as it goes into the 2024-25 season. More importantly, how Louisville's feeling as it goes into the 24-25 season. And that energy and that determination that we saw from Pat Kelsey at his initial introductory press conference months ago has certainly become a contagious thing with his players. That was clearly obvious. It's pretty obvious every time you get an opportunity to interact with the players. And whenever you get an opportunity to hear from Pat Kelsey out in public, which is frequently, it comes across. But being able to kind of sit down one-on-one with, multiple times one-on-one with the guys, Javon Hadley and Chucky Hepburn that were there, their commitment to what he's teaching, to the culture that he's creating for Louisville basketball has become part of their foundation. It became part of the reason why they came to Louisville. Things such as BCD, blame, complain, defends. It's kind of a negative mindset when things are going on in your life, whether it be in team sports and the work life at home, whatever the case may be. You don't want to blame things. You don't want to complain about things. And then when things start to fall maybe on your shoulders, you want to get defensive about it. Neither of these are good. Then there's the ERO, events plus response equals outcome. You can't control the events, but you can control the response, which then gives you the outcome. These things, both Chucky Hepburn and Javon Hadley repeated, and you could hear it throughout their answers. We'll get to some more one-on conversation with both Hadley and Hepburn here in just a moment. Another one, the mountain of average. It's kind of obvious of what the mountain of average is. Here's Pat Kelsey telling me what the mountain of average is.
So I mean, it's a thing. So you got the mountain of average, right? So you got very little down here on this side, that's bad. Very little, that's good, or that's elite. And then you say the majority of everybody's in the mountain of average, and we're trying to get out of the mountain of average with our process.
Feel like they're getting there?
Yeah, I think so. I love where our guys are at.
So in talking to his players, Hepburn and Hadley, asking them, what is the mountain of average when you're practicing? When does that come up? What does it look like, overcoming that peak on the mountain of average? I love their responses. Let's first get to Javon Hadley from the ACC Tipoff.
Opener. What will it be like, though, to walk out there wearing that jersey on day one? I mean, you got a taste of it on Louisville Live. It's certainly going to be different when it's a game.
Yeah, I mean, I know that coach is definitely going to implement the fact that the pride and the energy and all the stuff that we got to come out with, because we want to, and at the same time, we're doing it for the name across our jerseys. We're putting on for the city of Louisville. Every game matters. We can't afford, any stumbles, any trips that shouldn't be. I think we're gonna come out with a lot of energy the first game for sure.
In Louisville Live, jerseys were on backwards. What's the story behind that?
I mean, there's not really a story to it. I mean, we just kind of follow the leader a little bit. Just kind of put your last name out there a little bit, but at the same time, it's nothing really that deep into it.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. Let people kind of figure out who you guys are.
Yeah, figure out who you are a little bit.
Stuff,
yeah, everybody's new, so let people know a little bit.
Yeah. You guys have been working with Pat Kelsey for a while now. When you hear him speak, does it ring true every single time?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, he has the cultural blueprint that he reiterates. He has the ABCs, the BCDs, the mountain of average. He has different things that we can all recite. He says it every single day, but they're all meaningful. Like, for example, the mountain of average. There's a lot of average teams in college basketball. There's few elite. There's few that get to the Final Four. There's few that get to the Elite Eight, the championship. Like, you have to fight the mountain of average to be the elite. And you kind of just think about that throughout your life. Like, you want to sleep in, but you have to fight it. You know what I mean? Just like the little things in life.
When does that come up? Like, when he starts bringing up the mountain of average, is it late in practice to kind of push you guys a little bit more, or does it vary, or when's he try to push you the most?
Yeah, it varies a little bit. I mean, we have film sessions before practice, and we have team meetings before, we have team meetings after. It kind of varies, but he makes sure to reiterate that every single time that we do talk. I mean, when fatigue does set in, when we're busting our butts out there, and we're all tired and stuff. Yeah, and then we get the BCDs, the blame, complain, defends, the mountain of average. You get to fight all of that stuff to be elite.
You mentioned to me earlier that you guys want to have the best culture, or do have the best culture in the country. For Javon Hadley, what's that mean? How would you say that we do have that type of culture?
Yeah, I would say just that we do have that type of culture because we have a lot of leaders. We have a lot of leaders. We have a lot of maturity, and we have a lot of guys that understand that Louisville needs to win right now. So it's easy to be selfish, and it's easy to try to be that guy for a new team, and it's easy to do all those things that don't translate to winning. So at the same time, when you have a team that understands that and doesn't just tries to fit in and just be comfortable in their own skin, it's a recipe for some wins.
You're talking about the schedule as well, and Kentucky came up. You seem like, hey, I want to be a part of that. Obviously it seems like you've kind of gotten a grasp of what that rivalry means around Louisville.
Yeah, I mean, every time you run into a Cardinal fan, they kind of mention it, or if you run into a Wildcat fan, they mention it. So, I mean, it's kind of just like a never-ending rivalry. I mean, it's one of the, richest histories, like rivalries, like gritty rivalries that, you want to win. That's a big game you really, really want to win, especially, being in the in-state rivalry. But at the same time, I mean, we had a little story. We went to the zoo as a team, and we ran into some Wildcat fans. They were saying that we didn't win any games or anything in the last couple of years, but we weren't on the team. Yep. So I mean, we're just hungry to change that narrative for sure.
Does that kind of fire you up when you hear that?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, that fired all of us up. We're like, okay, let's go practice right now. Yeah,
let's do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of overcoming that mountain of average, then.
Yeah, that is exactly.
Cool. Appreciate it, man.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, listening to these two players, as well as Pat Kelsey, has you believing. You can hear their belief. Let's continue with Chucky Hepburn. He begins with talking about what it takes to build chemistry when you've got a completely rebuilt team from players that are coming from all different parts of the region with different levels of experience and one true freshman. Here's Chucky Hepburn from the ACC Tipoff.
Yeah, a lot of us have been to the tournament, March Madness. So we all come from winning programs. We all know what it takes to be able to get to March Madness. So and that's what I love about this team. We're so experienced, and we're mature too. So we hardly get into any arguments on the floor. And if we do, we're right back to loving each other right again. That's what I love about this team. It's nothing's personal. We're all about the right things. We all want to win, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win.
Talking to Javon, he said you guys had an experience at the zoo with some Kentucky fans. What has been the community reaction? Obviously, you're going to interact with Louisville and Kentucky fans out there.
Yeah, it's been ups and downs. We've heard it all. We know the past couple years, Louisville hasn't been at its best, at its peak. We know where it should be at. We've heard about it. It's like not like we were here and we can't do nothing about it. But all we could do is focus on the next. We focus on tomorrow at practice. Getting better every day, making that practice the best practice in Louisville basketball history. And we keep doing that. We keep stacking days. We're going to find success. We will, because this team is too talented and too experienced and too mature to not do that.
I like the quote that Javon had on ACC Network when he was impersonating Coach Kelsey, the mountain of average. What's the mountain of average when he brings that up? What is that?
Yeah, it's reacting above the line. There's only a certain amount of teams that can make it to the Final Four, and there's four teams. That's what it's called, Final Four. And we got to be in that 1% of the college basketball teams, and we're going to do whatever it takes to win. And we got a thing called E plus R equals O. Events plus response equals outcome. You can either have a bad event with a bad response and a terrible outcome. It's just how that event happens and what's your response going to be.
What does beating the mountain of average look like in practice to you guys?
Yeah, just not being lazy. Not taking plays off. Doing whatever it takes to win the drill. When coach is talking, it might seem boring. Making sure you're active and you're listening, paying attention, and you just have higher energy at practice. You're not taking no plays off. You're not having bad attitude, bad energy. That's what mountain average looks like.
Awesome. Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate again the guys and University of Louisville for the ability to work alongside with them at the ACC Tipoff, flexible and being able to really take any question that we could think of. So appreciate their patience and their willingness to sit there and with the cameras and the microphones in their faces and chat back and forth with us. I'm really looking forward to this ERO, the E plus R equals O. There are going to be a string of events going on throughout the 24-25 season. You're going to get W's, you're going to get losses. How will this team respond to those moments will equal the outcome that we'll see as March approaches. Really looking forward to how that translates on the floor. But before they get on there, before they get on the hardwood, at this point, Louisville's stock is certainly one that continues to rise. The belief that Pat Kelsey is instilling has certainly become, as I said, part of the foundation of this basketball team as individuals, as a unit. Again, appreciate their time at the ACC Tipoff. This has been a special Cardscast edition about the ACC Tipoff. I'm Cardinal Authority Senior Writer Michael McCammon. Thanks for listening to the Cardscast.